site in the vicinity of Interstate 495. So the planning board has seen some modifications to this project, which include the change from some sloping to some retaining walls. Additionally, some changes were made to the stormwater system due to the presence of ledge in the area of one of the stormwater systems. And also, we're now proposing changes to the stormwater infiltration area number 3, which is primarily a change in materials from ADS pipe to Cultec pipes. So all of these have culminated in the current request to allow the earth removal to start up again. And the applicant, now that they're into the building 3 area, has encountered ledge, which is going to need to be blasted, hammered, and removed. And they're not planning on being able to use that material on the site as fill. So we have increased the amount of earth removal from approximately 16,000 yards, was the original request, to approximately 20,500 cubic yards, which 12,500 yards have been removed. Approximately 12,500 yards have already been removed, with a request for an additional 8,000 yards to be removed in the future. So that's what we're here for this evening. I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have. Thank you.
You got a supporting statement for a special permit? You want to just read through those quick?
So we did put together an application for the board, special permit criteria, supporting statement for a special permit. Number 1, the proposed project addresses or is consistent with the neighborhood or town need. Response to proposed project will include 3 proposed buildings and will include a parking area. The use of the buildings will be office, warehouse, and light manufacturing uses, which are allowed within the industrial zoning district. Number 2, vehicular traffic flow, access and parking, and pedestrian safety are properly addressed. The traffic generated from the proposed buildings will be directed to Washington Street and will travel southerly to King Street and northerly to Union Street. The design includes 1 access driveway curb cut onto Washington Street to service the 3 buildings. Number 3, public roadways, drainage, utilities, and other infrastructure are adequate or will be upgraded to accommodate development. The proposed buildings located on the site will be connected to the town water and utilities, which are currently located within the property frontage. Proposed utility connections are shown on the site plans. A septic system will be proposed and will be designed in accordance with Title V in the Town of Franklin Board of Health Regulations. Septic system has been installed. Number 4, neighborhood character and social structure will not be negatively impacted. The property is located within the industrial zoning district. Property is bordered on the east by single-family houses, to the south by electric transmission lines, to the west by a wetland area, and to the north by Interstate Route 495. Number 5, project will not destroy or cause substantial damage to any environmentally significant natural resource, habitat, or feature, or if it will, propose mitigation, remediation, replication, or compensatory measures are adequate. The site is not located within any mapped natural heritage and endangered species area. There are not any mapped vernal pools located on the site. Number 6, number, height, bulk, location, and siting of buildings and structures will not result in abutting properties being deprived of light or fresh air circulation, or being exposed to flooding or subjected to excessive noise, odor, light, vibration, or airborne particulates. The siting of the three buildings as well as the height of the buildings in relation to the existing houses will not impact the light or air circulation of the abutting properties. The site stormwater system has been designed to meet the town stormwater standards for rate and volume of discharge. No noise, odor, vibrations, or airborne particulates are anticipated. Number 7, water consumption and sewer use. Taking into consideration current and proposed future local water supply and demand and wastewater treatment capacity will not be excessive. The proposed tenants have not been determined for the last building. Based on office and warehouse use, and anticipated water use will be approximately 1,350 gallons a day, and the site will be serviced by an on-site septic system. So those are our special permit responses. Thank you.
Okay. With all the gravel you're taking out, it must be a big parking area. You know how many parking spots are in this building? Is it associated with these buildings?
In this building,
No, the whole site.
the whole site, I believe we were on 130 parking spaces, if I remember correctly.
Okay. I remember seeing somewhere around 176, but anyway. And that's determined by what? The square footage of the buildings?
Square footage of the buildings and the use. So the industrial zone and then the uses have two different parking criteria. We had done the parking calculations both ways.
Okay.
So, and I'm sure your 176 is correct.
Okay. What else was I going to? Oh, never mind. Let me go to the board first. Joe, any questions?
I'm all set.
Janelle, any questions?
I had a question about if this is an application requesting for 8,000 cubic yards to be removed, what's the process for if more needs to be removed beyond that?
They'd have, well, it'd
Come
be up
back
to the,
again?
it'd be up to the building commissioner to, to let them know or let us know, and they could come in and we could amend it.
Okay,
They've already had one. We gave them one a few years ago.
yeah,
And in the process of getting the building done, I guess it took more time than they anticipated. I think they bought another piece of land there too. So I guess now they decided that they're going to do something different. They hit ledge, they got to blast that out and whatever. But usually where there's ledge, they like to keep all the gravel on site, but maybe they got to take the rock off. I don't know.
yeah. If 16,000 cubic yards was estimated originally, why wasn't that taken out in the first permit and just the 12,000?
Just the way, well, go ahead, Rick, you can tell them.
Yeah, so basically the 12,000 yards was taken, or roughly 12,000 yards was taken out for buildings 1 and 2. And
Mhm.
building 3 had not been started. When they started to excavate the overburden, the soil that was higher than where building 3 was going to be, that's when they discovered the ledge and stopped the excavation process. So now they finished building 2. The planning board issued a temporary, the ability for them to get a temporary occupancy and use building 2. Now they're moving into the construction of building 3. And they're now going to take that additional earth material off. Also, there was some stockpiling of material in the building 3 area that had existed from buildings 1 and 2 that they did not remove from the site originally, which they now need to get off as well.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it, Mr. Chair.
All right. Archie, any questions?
Yes, I'm wondering if I believe the original construction site required no left turn out onto Washington Street, Rick. Do you know if that's still the case?
Yes, I believe in the permit that was issued that the trucks were to turn right and head down towards the King Street intersection with Washington and not take an immediate left and head up Washington Street towards Union. And we would be amenable to that condition as well.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, is that something we need to put into the condition now, or is that something that's already baked into this?
Nothing's baked in yet. If it was in, he's not asking for a continuation of the old one. He's asking for a new one now because the other one ran out. So yeah, we could put it in. We always get direction of travel when they're leaving the site, and we can determine what that's going to be.
All right, so I would like to make that condition then a right-hand turn only out of the site. I'm not sure, what is that, south on Washington Street towards King Street?
South or west? I don't know what do you consider that, Rick? South or west?
South.
So, okay. I already got all that written down anyway.
And
So,
then I guess the next thing would be hours of operation.
7 to 5 PM, Monday through Saturday.
That's what the previous permit had been granted with as a time frame, and that's fine.
Anything else, Arch?
No, that's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let me see. Add parking spots, 7 to 5, right turnout, not to exceed 8,000 yards. Any activity should be reported weekly to the building commissioner with the amounts of earth taking.
Yep.
Any dirt left on the roadway at the end of the day should be swept. And yeah, roadway will be cleaned daily. I guess that's it. Anything else that I forgot? I know Rick's not going to tell me.
No, I think you got them all, the standard conditions for an earth removal permit. Yeah,
Okay.
hours, directions, the cleaning, the reporting.
Yeah.
Which we had done previously and will continue to do, weekly reporting to the building commissioner. Yeah.
Okay. Anybody from the audience have any questions or comments? Any hands up, Casey?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. With all that being said, I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second,
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote to close the public hearing. Roll call vote. Janelle,
Yes.
Archie,
yes.
chair votes yes. I'll entertain a motion.
And I'll attempt the motion, but you're gonna have to help me if I'm missing something.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the special permit for 275 Washington Street, Franklin Flex Space. Applicant is seeking to conduct earth removal in excess of 1,000 square feet, 1,000 cubic yards.
Yeah.
Not
Not to exceed.
to exceed 8,000 cubic yards. With the condition that the hours be set for 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. That the traffic or the construction trucks do not leave the premise on the left or do not make a left-hand turn, right-hand turn only going south on Washington Street towards King Street. What else was there?
Request a weekly report be done to the building commissioner with the amounts removed. If there's any activity during the week, if you don't do any activity, you don't have to report anything. Any dirt on the roadway be swept daily. I think that just about covers it all.
With the site being shown on a plan dated September 19th, 2024, titled Site Plan Modifications for 275 Washington Street, Franklin, Massachusetts by United Consultants Inc.
Motion made and
Seconded.
seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, roll call vote. Archie,
Yes.
Janelle,
Yes.
chair votes yes. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and board members. Have a good evening.
You also. Don't eat too much. All right, what do we got now? Approval of the minutes for October 24th. Members have been provided with the meeting minutes from October 24th. Janelle, you weren't there, so I wouldn't expect you to vote on them, but I'll entertain them. If everybody's had a chance to look at them, I've looked at them. I don't know if anybody else has looked at them or not, but if everybody's looked at them, I'll entertain a motion.
Joe, have you looked at the minutes?
Yes, I did.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes for October 24th, 2024.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. Roll call vote. Joe,
Yes.
Archie,
Yes.
chair votes yes. Okay, we got some unfinished business from the last meeting. It was the application for the doggy daycare. Janelle, you weren't there, but I think I told you if you had the opportunity to review it, you could sit in on it, or if you're not comfortable, or if you read the minutes, I guess that's one of the requirements for somebody who didn't attend the meeting. You can sit on it. If you're not comfortable with that, then Joe was there last meeting.
I did read the minutes. I watched some of the YouTube video. I didn't get through all of it. So I would be comfortable if Joe sat in. I did have some questions if you wanted me to vote on it.
We just can't take any new information. If you have a question, I'll try to answer it for you.
Okay. I had a question in reviewing the minutes. A couple of the abutters had said they sent letters in, but I didn't remember ever seeing them. And I went back through the emails and I looked, so I didn't know if everything was sent to the board.
I think we got 2 or 3 that day who sent to me, I think, or they came in that day, or Casey had a chance to look at them and send them out. I don't know if she sent them to everybody or not.
I received all the letters that were discussed.
Yeah, so did I.
Okay. And then I wasn't clear from the minutes on what the steps were with the hours. It seemed like there was discussion about if the ZBA could set the hours or if it needed to go back to the planning board for review. And that was clear in the minutes if that was resolved or not.
It's my opinion that because they're looking for relief or a special permit, that we probably could do it. But I'd be more inclined to just give them the hours that are listed in the lease. And I think the owner's on the call here. I think the lease said 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. I wasn't sure. Gus, do you remember?
The lease said 7 to 5 since I was just
Yeah.
reading it all.
Hang on, Gus is on the
Mr.
call.
Chairman, I believe it is 7 to 5.
Okay. So we could approve it that way. Or we could give them some relief. We haven't nailed that down yet. That part, that'll come under the motion, if there is one. Anything else? Anything else, John?
No, those were my questions.
Okay. Did we answer them for you? Did we answer them?
I mean, you just said if related to the hours, we could give them the hours or.
Well, here's the other thing that if you read through the minutes, it wasn't really, I don't think it was approved by the planning board. Those, I don't know if they approved the hours or not. I'm not sure if those made it into the decision either, but I guess it's in the landlord's lease.
Yeah.
That they say 7 to 5. So not only is it, if it is in the planning board decision, it's in their lease. And I don't know if Mr. Lavoie got a lease, or he's just doing exploratory before he signs a lease or what's up, but it's not really.
I don't have a lease.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman.
that's okay. We can't take any more information, Mr. Lavoie. You know, I mean, I just threw that out there as a question, that's all. But anyway.
Oh, the one other thing in the minutes, since I have it up here, that was a little bit, it seemed unresolved to me, was whether there needed to be a traffic study or not.
A what study?
Traffic study.
That comes under the site plan review, not necessarily with us. In other words, the building's been approved for uses. And if the planning board determined that they didn't need a traffic study, it's not up to us to do it.
Yeah, but if this is a use that requires a special permit, is this a kind of use that has a unique traffic pattern?
You know, it's no different than any other business. People come in, drop their dogs off. People come in, pick their cars and pick their dogs up. You know,
Yeah.
it
but
could be
I
any
mean-
time. It could be any time during the day. It's not, you know, it doesn't mean that they're there. It's all there. It doesn't mean
There is
that-
a little crush first thing in the morning and, after work. That was the other thing where I saw there was a lot of discussion about traffic study, but I didn't see anything definitive in the minutes about where that landed.
Evidently, the planning board decided they didn't need a traffic study because they didn't do it. Or they didn't require it.
Is this something that we would require as part of a decision?
I've never seen a traffic study yet. deny a project, especially in this magnitude. You know, I don't consider this a heavy traffic use, considering that Washington Street is like a connector road between towns. You know, it's not like it's a rural country road. You know, I don't know what the speed limit, I think they said the speed limit's 30 or 40 miles an hour, something like that. But, you know, the landlord's taking the precautions to make everybody exit to the right when they leave, according to police. So,
I think I had mentioned in the first hearing for
Yeah.
this use that I just know from experience of doggy daycare drop off, there's usually a train of cars going in, slowing down, turning, dropping off. And then it's like a quick turnover in the parking. So that doesn't seem like a concern, but if there is a traffic concern from the abutters at this location, that's what I would think could be a condition. Just to understand if there is impact there or not at the height of hours of the people using this service.
we could make it a condition of the approval if you want, or if somebody makes that motion and it gets approved.
Again, I wasn't at the last meeting, so I would defer to you, Chair, if you think it's, you know, I did try to catch up with everything, but if you think it would be more for me or Joe to be part of the decision.
It's up to you. You're the sitting member. And, you know, my understanding is if somebody misses a meeting,
Mhm.
they're able to read the minutes or watch the recording or the broadcast. And if they're comfortable, they can sit in on the meeting. Joe, is that the way it used to be at the planning board also?
Yeah, it's a one-time,
Per-
a member
Per
can,
application, I think.
right, a member can miss one meeting as long as they review the tape, read the minutes, and, you know, get up to date. It's a one-time show. If you miss two, you can't vote.
Okay.
Archie, any comments?
I would like to add in the decision, if we are to decide in favor of this, that the overhead doors, garage doors, remain shut at all times. I think that's going to help in minimizing the noise coming out of there and the barking and whatnot. And
Okay. All right, with all that being said, I'd be willing to entertain a motion if somebody wants to make one.
Who's gonna be the voting third member?
Well, I'm gonna ask Janelle if she wants to. She said
Okay.
she didn't feel comfortable, I thought, so I think it's probably gonna be you.
Either way, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, Janelle?
I mean, with my questions being answered, I'm okay with it. I can vote.
Okay. I'll entertain.
Okay. So you ready for a motion then?
Yeah.
All right, I'll give it a shot. So Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to grant the special permit for 275 Washington Street, Lawrence Lavoli. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that.
Lavoy.
To applicant is seeking to operate a doggy daycare and a daytime kennel facility Monday through Friday, with the stipulation that the hours be from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., that no more than 50 medium-sized dogs be allowed.
Listen, one said 50, one said 60. He wanted 60. She recommended 50, depending on the size. So why don't we just cut the baby in half and make it 55?
55 small to medium dogs. No more than 55 small to medium dogs. And that the applicant keep the overhead garage doors, bay doors closed at all times during operation of his business throughout the year.
Could we require for a traffic analysis during peak hours of visitors to the facility?
I think the proper addition to that would be to have the building commissioner determine if a traffic study would be in order, as opposed to us telling him to do a traffic study. I mean, nobody made him do a traffic study when they were building this whole big project. He's only using one bay of it. Whether he's got, what if a van brought 10 dogs at a time, then you'd have that much less traffic. You know what I mean? You can't say that there's going to be 60 cars coming in. He could have some people that might have 3 dogs dropping off, and there'd be less cars also. But I think, is Gus, you still on the call?
Sure, I am, Mr.
Are you
Chairman.
comfortable with that?
Thank you. I think that that's reasonable. I would like to talk to the town attorney, if this is in the motion, and find out if they can go back to the planning board for this traffic study and see what the planning board decides. If that's out of line, anybody feels that way in this call, we can modify the motion, but it is the planning board's task. And I would think, and I wish Rick was still on the call, but I believe this probably had a traffic study when it went to the planning board. And I could be mistaken and I could be misspeaking, but that's what I generally think and I know, Joe, you sat on some of it.
Yeah, at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, I
very
don't think he was at
beginning.
I don't think he was at the meat and potatoes of most of the stuff.
No, but Joe, would it have been customary for it to have a traffic study?
It definitely would have made, Tony Padula would have definitely insisted on a traffic study. So I can't remember because we just broke ice on it and then there was an election. So I don't know how far it went after that.
My enforcement could be weak on something that's established, and if the ZBA decision tonight tasks me with taking care of that, I would talk to the town attorney and I would get advice from him, and possibly this goes back to the planning board.
Okay. I mean, it could possibly go back to the planning board to adjust the hours.
True.
To the chair, that was a question of mine. I respect that what's all being said tonight, and I respect what Archie's saying with the hours, because that's pretty much what everybody's going on. But basically, that puts the guy out of business. It won't work from 7 to 5 because people are going to drop off before work, and people are not going to be able to get out of work at 5 and be there in 30 seconds. So with that said, tonight, could we put the condition on it, 7 to 5? However, with a little abbreviation, subject to planning board. So if the planning board says,
Subject to an adjustment by the planning board.
correct, because otherwise he's not going to be able to override the ZBA hours going back to the planning board.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah, go ahead.
Peter Genta, the owner's on it. Peter, you just made a comment. What was the comment about the hours?
Yeah, is my voice, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you.
Yeah, they had warehouse hours for the industrial 9 to 7 to 5, and office hours for the office part was 7 to 10 at night. So I don't know what this is sort of a blend.
Yeah, but office hours, what do they consider office hours? The owner going in and doing some paperwork in the morning? To me, he can go in
Meeting
anytime.
with your clients and customers.
He rents the spot. He could go in there anytime he wants, any time of the day and night. You
Yeah,
know?
but would your customers count as office customers or industrial customers? They're not driving big trucks.
Well, somebody, if he's got customers, if you got a remodeler in there and somebody's coming in to look at a plan or look at some cabinets or something like that, if they came in early, but we're not talking a lot of traffic if somebody's doing that. You know what I mean? I guess that was the idea of the contractors thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So could the dog owners come in at 6 or 7 if they're running late?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, you'll have to put a chain up at 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, not let anybody in, I guess. I don't know.
Bruce,
Yeah.
I think he was asking, can the owners of dogs come after 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
To pick up their dogs, not the owner of the establishment.
No, I get what he was saying, but that's what I mean. How are we going to keep anybody if they're running late? They get something happens, they can't make it. He's not going to keep any dogs overnight because that's another condition, Archie, you might want to put in.
Yeah, there's no overnight boarding.
Yeah.
Or weekends, correct?
All weekends. Just as a Monday through Friday operation, right, Mr. Lavoy?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, thank you.
And I guess that was my thinking about the traffic, is that if a traffic study wasn't done, if the hours get extended and that there's going to be a push of cars from 6:30 to 7:30 or, 5 to 6 p.m., what does the traffic look like at those hours? Is there an impact from this use, which requires a special permit in this unique location? Maybe
Well,
it's
the
maybe
unique
it's less of a concern for this use in an office complex or in a large strip mall, but at this location, when there is this unique traffic pattern, where there may be distinct hours before and after work, I thought a traffic analysis seemed reasonable to require.
It's almost a chicken and the egg. Do you need actual usage before you can do a traffic study
Yeah, listen,
performed down the road?
listen, traffic comes under the site plan approval. I understand we're given a special permit because, Janelle, you weren't there last week or last meeting, but, this is a use that's not allowed in any district in town, but it is allowed in every district with a special permit. So I guess, just going on, I think we got 2 or 3 of these in town. There's another one in an industrial site.
Mhm.
They're not limited by anything. I know this is a unique thing because the street comes out under a power easement, which they own, and they have the right to use it. And that's why the planning board approved it, because they had the exit onto Washington Street. The landlord has made an effort to make everybody turn to the right, although it's not, I don't think the planning board put that in there. My understanding is he did that. So if he's making everybody turn to the right, there's a right turn only sign on the way out, so people are going to see that. So, if you got people coming down Washington Street turning in, if you got people coming up Washington Street, they're going to take a left in there. They can do that, obviously. But, I don't see it. There's plenty of sight distance up the hill and down. The only place you'd have any problem is up the hill. And maybe when you're pulling out, when you first pull out through, and the guardrails there, you might have to stick your nose out to see past the guardrail, but I'm pretty sure it's a clear line of sight up to the top of the hill almost. When I was there, I didn't have any trouble pulling out, but it was 7 o'clock at night. So.
Yeah. It feels like a different location than the other dog daycares in that there's residential abutters. It is a country street with a little bit of a
It's not.
higher speed.
Let's just get to this.
Yeah.
Washington Street is an industrial zone area. From this property, from 495 all the way to Grove Street.
with a school bus stop in it.
Yeah, well, the
So
school bus stops everywhere.
I just being able to see a traffic analysis that says this is where the slowdowns for the buses and the school drop-offs, or there's traffic, an uptick of traffic during these hours. And does that coincide with the peak hours for this use? Feels like that would be good data to have for the final decision if it go to,
Well,
to the planning board, right?
This is the final decision. The only thing he's going to them for would be the adjustment of hours. And if you made it, and if a caveat was entertained that we put this traffic study in the decision, then it would be up to the applicant to decide whether he's going to do a traffic study or not. But I can almost guarantee you that, well, I ain't going to guarantee anything, but
Mr. Chairman, can I
yeah,
speak?
go ahead.
So this, I feel right now, the public hearing is closed.
Yeah.
We're trying to get through a decision.
Yes, we're not taking any new information.
Right. And I think that's been respected, and we're all trying to troubleshoot exactly what could or could not happen.
Right.
And as with everything that we do in the whole entire town with decision making, sometimes there's after the fact, sometimes there isn't. I
Yeah.
think in this case, so that there's no after the fact, that the decision includes that if the hours need to be changed, if a traffic study needs to be done, it's put on the building commissioner to make that decision. Because I think we're past the point of trying trying to
Well, listen,
rehash this.
I understand what you're saying, Gus, and it's not my intention to put this off. I mean, we're gonna have a vote, whether it goes or whether it's a yay or nay. And, and if we put something in there and we leave it up to you, I don't want to stick you in the middle of everything either, but I mean, you can investigate it after it, but once we grant them the special permit, then it'll be up to, I don't know where it would go from there. He's got a problem with the landlord with the hours of operation. And, I don't think he's got a problem with the traffic study, being done. I don't really think that it's necessary. I understand the people that are concerned about a bus stop that's across the street. But like I talked with, during the meeting with Mr. Garino, I can't understand why there's two entrances to, I don't know if it's Taft Drive or there's two separate streets there, but there's two separate streets that service that subdivision. Why they couldn't stop at the other intersection instead of stopping at this one, it's at the base of the hill. I don't know. But he said he asked that and they wouldn't, and with his position, I think that he would have had a little bit of, input on that. But evidently, the school department decided they didn't want to do it. And I think there was admittedly from the residents that they brought up that there was going to be redistricting. So I'm not sure when or where what's that going to do to the bus schedule.
The residents have no say over any kind of bus.
No, I understand that, but nobody
Bus
knows how.
stopping,
Nobody
anyway.
knows how. I know, but nobody knows how it's going to work out either. Because one of the abutters there did. Because I said, I don't know if you know the area or not, but there's two streets that service that subdivision. There's a
Yeah,
crosswalk.
I know that area.
I think that if it was such an important part of the equation here, this should have been handled a long time ago. Whether you got a few cars entering and exiting the building, you're always going to have somebody, once they get the three buildings up there and you get tenants in there, no matter what goes on. I don't know exactly what else you could do in there, but who knows? They could be cars generated from some other kind of business during the day. I know what was stated in the people stated, the abutters, that they said that they were going to have contractors and things like that. But, if you got spots and somebody wants to come in there, and as long as they're only going to be there from 7 to 5, seeing customers, or if they got clients coming in between 7 and 5, I don't know what else you're going to do. Let's put it this way: there's 176 parking spots there. They must have thought there was going to generate some kind of traffic, so somebody must have had the wherewithal to decide that they either needed or didn't need a traffic study. I don't know. I don't remember the planning board issues that came up during that. But looking through the minutes, I didn't see much.
Through the chair,
Yeah.
it is industrial zone. If this project was completed with all industrial uses, work-based, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, there's 170 parking spots. What time do carpenters, electricians, and plumbers start? 6, 7 o'clock? You're gonna have 150, 170 cars going into the property. And at 5 o'clock, when they all start coming back, usually those guys end at 4 or 5 o'clock. You got 170 cars leaving all at once quickly also. So it's not like there's gonna be no traffic if this business doesn't go in there. That was designed for that. It's industrial. It was industrial land prior to any residential around that area. I don't think it's going to be that much of an impact compared to what possibly could be there, especially if their employees are coming in, parking, taking trucks out of the bays. You've got hundreds and hundreds of cars going to be going in and out of it all day. This is minuscule compared to what could possibly happen.
Okay. I agree, but the buildings are going to be built. They're already approved, and I don't think that the planning board doesn't have any second bite at the apple here. They don't have to, for every tenant that comes in, he don't have to get approval for him, does he?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
That's what I thought. So anyway, and Gus, if you remember correctly, did they put any limits? Did the planning board put any limits on the hours of operation of the building, or was it just the landlord?
I know Rick's on the call too. I know Peter's an owner as well.
Okay, maybe one of them. No,
I haven't read that yet, but there was a lot of discussion during the course of this approval.
Yeah,
and the decision, I just can't. If there was, how do you enforce it?
Yeah, I don't.
You'd have to have that gate locked, and if it's not written in stone, then there's gonna be people coming in there at all different hours.
But hopefully their contractors and they're quiet. And they don't have their dogs with them barking, so. But anyway, Archie, did you finish your motion or?
I think with the motion, we were going to add the Monday through Friday only, no weekends.
Yeah, no.
And there was going to be no overnight stays.
Okay. We got the 55 dogs. And we're gonna leave it up to the building commissioner to determine. Well, we're gonna leave the hours from 7 to 5. And I don't know. I gotta believe that there was a traffic study done, but you know, I don't think they would have approved it without it. You know, and I meant to ask Rick when he was here too on the site plan approval. But I didn't, so.
The owner's here, he must know.
Mr. Chairman, I sorry to make this longer, but Peter, I'd like to ask the owner a question. Peter, the hours of 7 to 5 were implemented by you for this tenant?
The hours were, as I see it, it's in the approved plan. It's written in the letter box that Rick put together, and it says warehouse, industrial, 9 to 5, office hours, or I'm sorry, 7 to 5, office hours, 7 to 10 p.m.
Okay.
Okay.
So I don't know if that Rick did that or it was required by you guys, or I'm not sure how.
Wasn't required by us.
Would have been the planning board, I think, would have said that, no?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
No, I have no more.
okay. So I don't know, Janelle, I don't know what we do with the traffic study. I don't know how we can implement that in there.
Okay. It was a suggestion.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I just, you know, I gotta believe that, you know, it's like I said, it's not a rural, when these things come up, it's a rural country road. When anything else comes up, it's a major thoroughfare, you know, and Washington Street is a connector between two towns. But anyway, it's not, anyway, actually, was that, you got everything in there?
I believe I do, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, let me just go over it quick. Motion to grant, hours 7 to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday, no nights, no weekends, correct?
Correct.
Subject to the parking spots approved on the site plan. Just a note that the animal control officer approved the use as described to her by the applicant. I had a little concern about the open gates type setup, but not more than 55 dogs. Overhead garage doors.
Not more than 55 small to medium dogs.
Okay, small to medium. If she goes in there, she said she had a chart, you know, how many square feet a small dog, a medium dog. So she said, depending on how many dogs were there, we can leave it up to, you know, if she goes in to inspect them and she finds that there's more bigger dogs, then she can say, hey, look, you got to cut some dogs down. So we can put that in the small to medium dogs.
To the chair?
Yeah.
For total respect to the neighbors, it was a major concern. Could we add in no off-site walking of dogs?
Yeah.
Because that was a concern of the neighbors.
Mhm.
And the owner of the establishment who's going to be running this promised that was never going to happen anyway, so it really shouldn't be that big of a condition.
No, you're right. I read that too. And he said that he wasn't going to take the dogs off site. He wasn't even going to take them down the High Lines because it's a tick cable. Just in case anybody doesn't know, I do read the minutes and I remember what everybody says. So. But sometimes when you're doing these, you're trying to get everything in it, and sometimes you leave some things out. That's why we got as many minds as we have doing this as opposed to one.
Did you get the overhead door in there, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah. Overhead doors to remain closed. No off-site dog walking. And I'm just trying to figure out some wording to
Disposal of,
Disposal of waste.
well, he's already said that. Yeah, disposal of waste in the proper manner. You know. which could be the dogs can urinate on the parking lot. The dogs can poop on the parking lot as long as he picks it up and disposes of it in a proper way. And I guess that's it. I don't know what to do with the traffic study, how to put it in there. We can put it in that we can direct the building commissioner to, Gus, what would you say to determine if a traffic study has been done or not, I guess? Is that good enough? Gus still here? Or do you run away?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
To have the,
I think, you know, the part about the traffic study, Janelle, is, you know, Mr. Hallinger brought up a good point. There's 176 spots there.
Yeah,
It'll be a free-for-all at those hours.
yeah,
And in a traffic study, you know, the fact that let's take the doggy daycare out of the equation for a minute. It could still be something that is problematic at different hours of the day.
well, I guess that's why I was surprised from the minutes from the last meeting that everybody had said, well, we didn't find evidence of a traffic study. And not many of the neighbors mentioned their concerns about traffic. So how do we respond to that if we don't know if a traffic study was done, yet there are a lot of concerns?
I don't believe.
I don't think I was tasked with a traffic study research to see whether or not there was one with the planning board. So at this point, where we're at this juncture,
Gus, I think the owner just said there was not one.
there was not a traffic study on this property.
I think we just did a calculations for parking requirements. But there was no, there was no, you know, study to determine how many trips per day would occur. It was just assumed it would be about 100 and about the same as the parking spaces,
Right.
but no formal study. I know in the past I've been in situations where they've asked for a study to be done after the project is open.
yeah, but what would that help? That would only prove that they should have had it done in the first time, and I don't think that they can make you change your operation because
I just don't know how you do a traffic study
no, I don't know how either.
without knowing who's in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he could do a traffic study with the two buildings that are in there, Janelle, and they could say it's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
You know, and then they build the other building. Why should this guy be punished? You know, who knows if the other building's not even there. So. But anyway,
or even, you know, in the future, thinking about where a redistrict bus stop goes.
yeah, well, that would be, you know, if they redistrict. I know they're redistricting. I just don't know where they're, you know, where they're going to pull everybody from. Maybe some of the kids that are taking the bus there now won't be able to take the bus. Maybe they'll make them go to the school up the street. I don't know, you know. But anyway, so we got a motion to grant Sowers 7 to 5 day, Monday through Friday, no weekends, no nights. As long as they get plenty of parking. The animal control officer came to the meeting and said that she approved of the use, dependent upon the size of the dogs. You know, so many dogs per square foot, which she can check after we get done. Overhead door to remain closed. No off-site dog walking. And we cut the baby at 55 dogs to limit to 55 dogs. So anyway.
Will he still have the availability to go to the planning board to extend the hours if possible?
Yeah, they can do whatever they want. I guess that'll be up to the owner too.
Mhm.
You know, if he lets him go, I don't know. That's not really our problem. But going by what's been told to us, the hours should be that. But listen, I don't have a problem if he wanted to go 6 to 6. But, because the more people you get in there early, the less you're going to have the traffic clumped
Prior
up.
to the school bus, that's right.
Yeah, so, but that's the way to look at it too. Right, Janelle? If they open up earlier, that'll relieve a lot of the traffic for an hour's difference, because I don't think the school buses start coming till 6:45 or something like that. That's what they told us, so. But,
So through the chair, so we are letting this person know, will it be on writing or is it just verbal? That we're limiting him from 7 to 5. But if he is able to get extended hours, would he have to come back to the ZBA? Because we're giving him a
no, he can have any adjusted hours as approved by the planning board.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, on a site plan modification, I guess you'd call it, if that's what they did.
Yeah, I've
Okay.
seen that done under general business. They did that with that big warehouse on King Street.
Yeah, no, I know, they limited
They
the
went
hours.
under general
They
business
came
and got,
back, they changed it, I
they
know.
got
Yeah, Rick
24
said I
hours.
should talk to Amy.
Who should talk to Amy?
That the owner should talk to Amy about hour extending.
Well, I didn't say to
Hour
talk to Amy
differences.
about anything. I just said that you go back to the planning board for a site plan modification to adjust the hours of the operation.
Okay,
That's it.
okay.
I didn't tell you to talk to Amy.
No, Rick Goudreau said
Oh, Rick
talk
did.
to Amy what the process would be.
Yeah, well, that's well, you'd have to talk to her first probably, but ultimately it falls with the
Planning
with
board.
the planning board,
Okay,
So if you're thinking about any other things you're gonna have going on there, maybe that would be the time to, to hash all that out too.
sure.
And if they don't change it, they don't, there's nothing we can do about it.
Okay.
But anyway. All right, Archie, is that a motion? Oh, wait a minute. Just in the motion, Archie, this special permit is only for Mr. Lavoy, the applicant, and doesn't run with the property.
Correct.
Special permit for the applicant only. And what's the unit number that we're gonna be in?
It is B19, building B19,
Okay, approximately how many square feet?
approximately 1,750.
1,750 square foot. Okay. It's actually shown on a plan somewhere, right? The buildings are at, we got one here, a site plan modification shows it on there, but I don't know that we need the plan, but it's for the units located at 275 Washington Street, owned by Flex Space LLC, Franklin Flex Space LLC.
Yep.
Casey, you getting all this?
Yes.
Okay. Based upon an approved site plan by the Franklin Planning Board, that any amended hours that the applicant or the owner may get from the planning board on a site plan modification to operate this business at different hours than we stated would be fine with the ZBA. Except no nights or weekends.
I was waiting for you to say
What
that. I was
when
waiting.
does nighttime start?
Yeah. Well, you might have to get so many dogs, you might have to have 3 shifts. You never know.
All right.
But
Go over it.
just make sure you get a percentage when you're on the lease. But
All right.
anyway. All right. We all set, Arch?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman. Okay.
Second. Who's got a second? Anybody?
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion made and seconded to approve the 275 unit B19 for doggy daycare center proposed by the applicant, Mr. Lavoy. Any discussion? I think we discussed it to death already. Okay. That being said, I'll have a roll call vote because we're remote. Janelle,
Yes.
Archie,
Yes.
chair votes yes. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you to the board.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just hope everything works out for everybody, that's all. So I think we put enough protection in there, so.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Take into consideration. Have a good night.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We don't have a meeting scheduled for the next 2 weeks, but there possibly may be one. Well, I don't know. Gus, I was told you wanted to slow that one down or something. You don't think it's going to be this year?
He's rethinking the covers that he wants to add to the property.
Okay,
He may find out another way he wants to do it and not
Okay.
go before the board.
okay. All right. Well, that's good. All right. With all that being said, well, before we adjourn, I would like to wish everybody have a great Thanksgiving feast or meal or get together or family time or whatever time you want to have. I hope everybody's safe. And if we don't see you, if we don't have another meeting before Christmas, I'll wish everybody happy holidays also.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for adjournment, non-debatable. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Well, wait a minute. Roll call. Archie,
Yes.
Janelle,
Yes.
chair votes yes. Good night, everyone. Thank you.
Good night, all.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.